Today we're gonna sew a cute halter top with this fabric, cotton fabric, and I'm gonna show you the pattern details so it becomes easy for you to use the pattern. So we have first page is just size pages. We have a test square 5 cm by 5 cm, which is just for testing. So when you get the pattern, you have to measure it so you are sure that it is the right scale. There's also a second square 2 inch by 2 inch. You can use either of these. Then we have a kind of like each size corresponding to different type of pattern line. Yeah, now other than this, some of the patterns will also have sizes on them directly. So down here we have size chart, and it includes like 15 size. Now let's get into details. So I'm gonna show you how pattern papers match each other. So we have here paper number 8. You can see in the corner it says 8. How this matches is that there is a frame around it, so you have to fold on that pattern. You can cut as well, but folding just takes less time, so I would advise you to fold. And this is a folded piece. After that we have to once we have both papers folded, then you have to match them using this notch right here, and yeah, then you just tape it around and match all the papers just like this. One thing to note here is that the numbers in the corners, so I specifically put numbers in the corners so you will also be provided with a layout of the pattern. You can see the layout of the pattern in the PDF that you received, so it will be easier for you to assemble these papers. As you see in the left corners, there is numbers 8 and 9, so that's why I put them together. This is how it looks after I put all the papers together. Now it's time to cut. One thing to note that there are some pieces here that are same for all the sizes. For example, this necktie one and the tie, front tie, which is option, so you can do it or you might not use it. So me personally, for this project, I'm gonna use red cotton fabric with white contrast fabric. So I'm gonna have the top in 2 colors, red and white. So F, G, and E patterns are for the contrast fabric that I'm gonna use later. I'm gonna fold my fabric and I'm gonna start with cutting these 2 fabric. First of all, I'm gonna explain what this arrow means, double-ended arrow. This means that you have to place your pattern on a folded fabric and do not cut along that seam. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. I need 2 pieces of this same pattern. I have got 2 of this. Now I'm gonna cut a cup piece. I also need 2 of this cup piece. Now I have them both and this is how it's gonna look. Let's now do the back tie piece. So this one we need 4 pieces of this piece, and I'm gonna have the pattern folded again, like I'm gonna leave it folded. The thing is, when I cut this pattern, I'm gonna have 2 mirrored pieces, and that's what I want. I'm just gonna cut around it, all of it, and I'm gonna have 2 pieces, and then I'm gonna do the same thing again. So after I finish this, I'm gonna have 4 pieces in the right direction. So one important thing to note when you cut the fabric, make sure that you cut in the right direction. So the double-ended arrow, but the one that is straight, this one has to be parallel to the grain line, which is also called as selvage edge. So make sure to do that so the pattern pieces do not stretch in some kind of weird way, and you get all the pieces right. So make sure that this arrow will be parallel to the grain line as I'm showing you here. So now we have everything needed from the main fabric. Let's now cut out the contrast fabric. So first we're gonna start with sewing the chest piece, and the right side of fabric have to be facing each other. So when we sew it and turn it around, flip it around, it's gonna give us the right side. So here, this is the way we do it. Just as I mentioned, we have 1.5 centimeter seam allowance. So yeah. So first, we're gonna start with sewing the chest piece, and the right side of fabric have to be facing each other. So when we sew it and turn it around, flip it around, it's gonna give us the right side. So here, this is the way we do it. Just as I mentioned, we have 1.5 centimeter seam allowance. Now we got this round corner and we have to cut triangle shapes into it, so when we flip it, it doesn't look bulky. So that's what we're gonna do. So we got the chest piece. Now we have to sew the white pieces for the pattern, and I'm gonna start with this middle piece. I'm gonna fold it and sew it, and when I turn it around, it's gonna be the right side of the fabric. So after I sewed it, I will cut the excessive fabric with scissors and then turn it around so we get that clean finish, and we're gonna be done with this piece. After that, let's sew the triangle pieces for the chest pieces. So here we have two pieces facing each other with the right side of fabric, and we're gonna start sewing like this. At the end, I'm gonna backstitch a little bit so the fabric will remain in its place. Then I'm gonna cut the excessive fabric as well for this piece so I can turn around the whole thing and get that clean finish. We have these two pieces now, and now let's sew the front tie, which is an option. Like, you don't have to do it. It's just about style. If you prefer it, you can also sew this tie in front. To sew the tie, we have to fold the fabric, and the right side of fabric has to be inside. And after that, let's just sew around the edge like that, backstitch a little bit, then cut the excessive fabric. There's one thing we have to do differently here. Choose the middle part of the pattern and cut the seam, because we have to turn around the fabric from that point. So as you see, what I'm doing here is turning around fabric from that point. Yeah, and then I'm just gonna sew that opening from the outside, so it won't be that visible, but it will be stitched. So then that's gonna give me the clean finish. That's our front tie. But now we have to sew the side seam of the chest piece, and this is how we do it. Make sure to put the machine on the 5 or 4. Now we have to sew the side seams of the chest piece, and as you have seen in the pattern, the side seam of the chest piece has to be gathered. So for this, we have to put machine stitch lengths as high as possible. In my case, on my machine, it was 5. So I put the stitch length on 5. That just makes the gathering part easier. So let's do it 2 times, so when we pull the string, it doesn't break. So now we've got 2 stitches on the side seam, and now it's time to gather. I actually indicated the amount you have to gather for each size in the pattern PDF that I provided to you, instruction PDF. But it's actually up to you. If you want it lower after you try it on, if you want it lower, you can gather more. If you want it higher, you can not gather that much, so on. So it's up to you. So we have to open the chest piece a little to insert the triangle pieces into it, the white fabric triangle pieces. So I'm gonna be opening that right here like that, and I'm gonna insert the white piece. I already inserted it. Now keep in mind that I'm sewing this triangle piece from the back side of the chest piece. So I decided which one is the back side of the chest piece, right? I'm sewing right there on top of that from the back side. This is necessary because when you fold over the triangle white piece, it's gonna look perfect. Here I fold it, and as you see, this is gonna be the front look. So yeah, so for the necktie piece, it's good to iron the piece because, as you know, these patterns include 1.5 centimeters seam allowance. So I'm gonna iron directly on that seam allowance, so it becomes easier for me to work with this piece while sewing. After that, start sewing it from the top, triangle shaped part, and I'm gonna come down to it. As I come down while sewing, I'm gonna leave space for the chest side seam. So for the chest piece side seam. So here we have second one. We're gonna do the second tie as well. Towards the end, I leave out some space, and I have to shorten the seam allowance that is on the top part of the tie, because I have to flip it around and it's gonna get in the way of flipping it inside out, so it's gonna make it harder. So I'm gonna take scissors and cut this. Now I have it cut. As you see, towards the end I left the seam allowance because it's gonna make things easier. So I'm gonna use pen and this some kind of stick looking iron stick to flip it around. I'm showing you how it works. So after that, after gathering, you can measure it and know exactly how much space you need to leave out. If you are using my recommendation of the gathering part, like how much you can gather, if you used my recommendation, you can literally leave out the same space that is in the PDF instruction. Like if you, for example, used my recommendation to gather chest piece side seam down to 16 or 17, you have to leave that space out when sewing. As I told you, we left out the same space as the side seam of the chest piece. So we can now see on top of that, when it comes to an end, you can do back stitch and then front stitch again to really meet that piece in its place. After using the interfacing, I'm gonna sew the waist part. So not the top of the waistband piece, but the bottom of the waistband piece. So the waist part. I'm gonna leave other openings. So the same goes for the back tie pieces. I'm gonna have them facing each other with the right side of the fabric, and then sew it around. I'm gonna start with a triangle shaped part of the back tie and just sew the waistline. So I'm just gonna sew the down part of the piece for now. Then I'm gonna open the fabric and open the back tie piece since it's not sewed fully. And now we have to sew it to the waistband and make sure that it's matching right way. So we're gonna sew the waistband. Waistband is also not sewed entirely for this reason, so we can attach back tie to the waistband. So we're gonna open both back tie and the waistband, and we're gonna sew them together just like this. And after this, we're gonna finish sewing the back tie piece. So I'm just gonna sew it all around, and the back tie piece is finished. And the only opening that you're gonna have for now is the waistband top part, the part that has to attach to the chest piece. And of course we have to have some opening for now, so we can flip around the sewed back tie piece. So you're gonna flip that around. So now we have to attach top part of the waistband to the chest piece. But first, let's gather some fabric for the chest piece, and you should gather amount. After gathering, it should fit in the waistband. You can also use 2 stitches here as well while gathering the bottom part of the chest piece. Here, after matching the waist piece to the chest piece, we are sewing on top of the fabric. So keep in mind that the back of the fabric is rightly placed, so the seam can go through both top and back piece of the waistband. And yeah, we're gonna be finished with that. So after we're finished sewing, now we have to insert the middle white piece. So I'm gonna have to open here so I can insert the middle piece, and also it's gonna be automatically opened in the back, and I'm gonna insert the white piece like this, and I'm just gonna sew on top of it just like that. And yeah, that's a finished pattern. As you know, each body is individual, so if you would need to make some alterations specifically for your own body, I would suggest some alterations. So if the neckline is a little bit wide and you want it tighter, you can just open the necktie openings, unstitch it a little, and just take in more fabric here on both sides, and it's gonna be tighter. And other alteration I can suggest is if you want the underbust seam tighter, you can also take in more fabric on the sides here as well, so you make the seam smaller. And yeah, I think that will make it perfectly for your own body if you would need to do some alterations in the first place. But the pattern sizes are perfectly for the sizes mentioned. So yeah, good luck with your pattern. I hope it turns out good.